Hi, everybody. Hi. How is everybody? Okay, let me say hi to everyone. Evie, Beth, A. Brown, Lilac, Fire Butterfly, Carol, Beth, Evangelista. What's your nickname? Evangelista Alba. Fire Butterfly, OSP, Cindy, Rachel, Neil Vanille, Borowinkle, Marie, Lily. Okay, Lily. Rachel. Um, MLB. I am Claudia. Kez, Cindy, Bang Luna, Madeline, Rebecca, Lara, Mama Ja, Kathleen Schelling, Rhea, Maria, V Heart, and Joe. Magandang umaga, Joe. Give me 1 second. I think so I'm streaming. I think the phone that I'm using is a little too loud. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. um, Elena, Joanna, Lawrence, Disha, Sinri, Debbie, Lily, Roxani, Tara, Joanne, Rachel, Val, Z, Borowinkle. Hello. How is everyone? I wasn't able to watch J Hope's live because I was working. As you know, I have a full time job. So I wasn't so focused. Do you guys drink coffee? Do you drink coffee? I love coffee. I do think I put a little too much milk in my coffee, but I love it. Okay. Um, Hi, also. Oh, Evie, hello on Twitch. I missed J Hope live too. I know, right? Arlene, hello. I missed it. Although I heard, so I saw some stuff on Twitter. I know that that Jin actually said hello during the live stream, and I know that he released a mini documentary behind the scenes on YouTube. I haven't watched that too, except for the part when he said that I think in the Seoul concert, all the parents of BTS members are actually there, and it was so because you can hear the fondness in his words, and he was talking about how each parent actually considers each member to be their child, and so he was like, "Oh, they must be so proud watching him doing it all alone." So I felt like we know that, like we all know that they've always treated each other as family. We've seen them. I mean, V's mom actually cooked for everybody breakfast, stuff like that. So if we know, and they travel together. Unfortunately, they've been photographed without their consent, traveling together many times already. So we know that they are very much like a supportive group. Like they would consider each boys their child. So um, I haven't seen any other content from there. Genesee Lawrence. I know the few stuff that I've seen online. I'll try to watch them tonight. I'm actually trying to finish Are You Sure? I'm on the last episode so that I can do my recap in the next live stream. And then I will go to Runjin, or probably the Netflix show. Although I probably will wait for that to finish. I'll probably do Runjin first, catch up on Runjin, catch up on BTS Run. I it would. Can you believe that I haven't even I haven't caught up with Run episodes, but okay. I love how parents support all the guys. I know, right? Okay, so congratulations to everybody who's actually like on top of it, but I'm not, unfortunately. So um yes, they love themselves as the kids, all the kids as their own. So we have some things, one of which is, give me 1 second. So there are still, if you're in Asia, there are still some tickets available for J Hope's concert. Give me see if I can actually show this to you. So most of it actually already sold out, but there are some more tickets in Osaka, Singapore, and Jakarta, although not a lot. So that I'll show it to you. So if you have friends, family, if you want to tell everybody, um, please, so that we can sell that out. As you know, BMO already announced formally that the 2 nights he had in BMO were actually sold out. And now we have, so the North American tour, all of it, they're sold out. That leg is sold out. And so the next one would be Asia. So for Singapore, Jakarta, and Osaka, there are a limited number of tickets, but there are still some tickets. The rest sold out, and it's so, I heard it's so difficult to actually get tickets if you want to, like, even on resale. However, I have someone, so this person actually donated some tickets for the LA leg, and she is hoping she can get some tickets for Thailand because she's going to be there the same day the concert is happening. So if you know somebody who wants to resell at cost, let me know so I can connect it. I can connect that person to the person who donated, who's looking for tickets. Is he done in North America? He is done with North America. He has flown back to Korea probably to do some stuff, and then he's gonna start his Asia tour. So excited for Manila Day. Please be present. Be fully present in his concert. It's, I promise you, you will not. This is the first of its kind. He's on a different level. He's just so. Jen was like, "Get me back to our one room dorm." Really? Oh my god. Um, okay, so yeah, so that's my, in terms of, so please let your friends know that there are still some tickets for Singapore, Jakarta, and Osaka. As far as I know, for Osaka, day one was already sold out. That's as far as I know. And so the ones that they're selling is actually for day two. And then again, if you know anybody selling their tickets at cost for Thailand, let me know because someone's looking for tickets. Okay. Can I see that on Weverse or YouTube? What is it? This one? The one that I'm showing you? Yes, you can see this. I posted this on Weverse. Or are you talking about something else? Are you talking about the Kian's Bazaar, BNB? That is on Netflix only. Jay must be tired but keeps on going for army. I know, right? I mean, we all know the kind of physical demand this thing actually takes out of an artist. So for him to actually do it, and right before the comeback of his brothers, you know, the kind of commitment that he has. Okay, third new song coming from Asia. I hope you get it. I mean, as I've said, we already got ours for North America, so I think it's just fair that you get yours. Hi, Dawn. Nothing about Jay is saying he's tired. Someone sent me a message saying, "You don't have your lipstick on." Okay. Is that good? Haywood, it was on YouTube. What is it? What is it that J Hope soul behind uploaded Bangtan TV? Oh, okay, yeah. So that is on Bangtan TV channel for his behind, where he mentioned the parents, all the parents of his members were actually present. He said everyone was present, no one was absent. So I love that they're all very supportive of their sons. J Hope will have a new dancer for Asia tour. Yes. So some of the people that he that accompanied him for the North American tour won't be going to Asia. I think it's more financial reasons more than anything, because it's really expensive to fly someone from Asia, because you effectively will have to be paying the person. You will have to pay the person 24/7 if you do that, something like that. Usually they package it. So for example, if it's 2 months, you're gonna get paid 2 months worth or something. But it's essentially how the rate is gonna go. So it's very expensive as opposed to just getting people from Asia. And then of course, I'm sure you also, like, he has helped a lot of street dancers get their exposure through his concert in North America. So I think it's fair that he gets some people from Asia as well. The word single in his t-shirt may be a spoiler. Maybe Jin was limping when he came through airport, thought he was coming back from Malaysia. Okay. 16, yes, 16 more. International. I know, right? Okay, so before we start, is there any question you want me to, any question you want me to answer before I go with my first topic? He should keep the young lady that does the splits. It's expensive, really. I mean, I'm sure he would want to. It's just really so expensive. Okay, 1 second. Oh, there you go. Do you have questions? Hi, Azucena from Cali. Hello, Bang Luna. Bang Luna. Let's always remember that this entire suite idea came from Bang Luna to get a suite and all. That idea came from her. 16 more. That's a lot of work. Yes. Um, was J Hope hinting about a soul? He seems to have been hinting on it because somebody asked him point blank whether or not he's going to have an encore concert, and he said, and the person said, like, can you announce it already? And he said, he laughed or smiled and said, like, oh, this is interesting. How did you even? I would have fainted. I'm hoping the next song will be with Jin. I just hope, whether or not it's going to be with Jin, I hope that they just release, he and Jin will release a song. Where is Deb back? He's right here. Come here. Everyone's looking for you. Come on. Come. Come on. Come on. Okay. Okay. Hello. Okay. Say hi to everybody. Hi. You okay? Yeah. So I posted on Patreon my plans for the next tour. So everything is laid out there. So if you have time, please go to my Patreon. I posted the activities that I'm planning to do, and then I will just announce it as it comes along. I think the major issue is that we don't know what BTS is BTS is planning as of the moment. So we're all just waiting for, we're on BTS schedule basically. Whatever it is that they decide, I'm going to design my holidays around it. So have quite a number of vacation days from my regular work because I don't really take a lot of vacations. So I think I'm good. I say hi, baby. Hi. Mm, you have. I was at work the whole day, so he wasn't really. Hi, Lily saying hi. Hi, hi, hi. He was, so I was at work the whole day, so I didn't really have time to play with him. So tomorrow maybe, but I played with him yesterday, right? Played fetch. Okay, I have to go check out your tour plans. Yes, it's already posted on Patreon, and it's open to everybody. So it's on free tier. Even if you just register for free membership, it's there. You will be able to see it. Say hi. A lot of people are saying hi to you. Hmm? Say hi. Say hi. He was I mean BTS. Okay. Let's go first to my first topic. They're saying hi, baby. Why don't you say hi? Hmm? I might go live. I forgot to announce. I might go live on Friday. I'm just gonna finish watching Are You Sure? Haven't watched that. And then I'll do either Run BTS or Run Jin. And then I also haven't finished, whether you believe it or not, I haven't actually finished In the Soup. I really need to catch up, so I probably will do that. So I'll just go live on Friday, but I'm just gonna be watching. So if you guys want to watch with me, you're welcome to do so. So I most likely will be banned in Angel Star. Thank you. Oh, treat for Debak. Debak, you have treats. Say thank you, Angel Star. Say thank you. He's like, mm. So I might not do it on YouTube because they're gonna block me. So probably I'll do it on IG, on Twitch, and I guess X maybe. In the Soup. Yeah, I'll do In the Soup. I'll finish. I'm down to one episode. Excuse me. I'm down to one episode for Are You Sure? So I'll do that first, and then I will do either In the Soup, Run BTS, or Run Jin. I still need to do Bon Voyage. Oh my god, it's another thing. I still have I really need to catch up, and I hope I can do it before they return. There's just so much, so much. I saw on X a comment where a fan from the Philippines asked J Hope to bring Jay to the Philippines. They said, I beg you to bring Jay. It was funny. So in his interview, in one of his interviews, he was asked about whether or not he knew about US fans actually calling him Jay, and he said he knew about it. And he said he was like, he finds it like cute and funny that we're calling him Jay. But I mean, I hope that he brings Jay to the Philippines. I'm pretty sure he's going to bring Jay to the Philippines. YouTube is being a pain for me today, so I moved over here. Hi, guys. I am 4 episodes behind Ronjin. Well, Bang Luna, you're doing way better than I am because as I haven't even, I only watched 2 episodes of that, the one with J Hope and the very first episode, and I haven't gotten back to it. So there's so much to watch, so much to watch. Um, what we try what we can with our times. Is Bon Voyage only on Weavers? I still don't have a membership there. You have to get membership. I do think that there it's on Weavers. I think there's at least one or two that's on Weavers. I haven't even finished Malta. There's just so much I can't. Um he said J is for yes only. Aw, I'm sorry, Philippines. Apparently, it's just for US. Maybe he can sneak it in. I watched all Ronjin again. Fire Butterfly. Oh, I haven't even watched JK's documentary Netflix version. Oh, Disney version. I haven't watched that either. So there's just so much I need to catch up on. I'm so behind. I'm so behind. Where is that? I'm so behind on Ronjin and now his Netflix. I know, Jessica, you and I both. It is crazy for people how people film JK's address. It's frightening. Let's not talk about that. It's not. It's terrifying. Okay. Okay, baby, that's it. Can you go back to your bed? Can you go back so I can start my live stream? I'm gonna start with my first topic. Say bye bye to everybody. Say bye bye. Say bye bye first. Say bye bye. Say bye bye. Say bye bye. I'm gonna go to my bed, my big bed, which is not really his bed. It's my bed. Say bye bye. Invite everybody to your OnlyFans. Okay. Love you. Love you. Okay, he is going back to his bed, and we are going to start. He by that he's going back to his bed. Yeah, I brought him like a huge bed to for under my bed because he likes it. It's like half the size of my bed, and he really really loves that. Okay, so let's go to Cypher series analysis. I hope so. Yesterday, I published an analysis on I'm Fine and Save Me, the connection between the two, basically the ambigram. It is a visual, narrative, and thematic ambigram, those two songs. So I hope that you get to watch that. Um, is there a documentary in Disney for JK? So there are, so his documentary that was shown on theaters, there is a Disney version with additional scenes. I haven't seen that. BTS paved the way. Hello. Okay, so I hope that you can check out. If you haven't already, please check out that video that I uploaded yesterday, and it was on Save Me and I'm Fine. No, I'm just about to start BTS Paved the Way. And it is about the connection of those two songs and how much as I research, I really haven't found any other act in the world that has done that same thing, the way that they have connected two songs together to create an ambigram. So I hope you can check that out. Now let's do Cypher series analysis. Okay, so let me hide you. BTS paved the way. Okay, okay. So as you know, Cypher has always been the thing of the rappers in every performance, and even in their music videos, and not music videos, but their albums. Cypher is sort of their saga, the saga of the three rappers, and it kind of traces their unique story and sentiments from pre-debut to debut to success, basically. And it once you kind of understand what each of the song, what each part actually means, and the message it delivers, it makes sense for the rappers. As you know, RM announced that they are not going to be performing Cypher anymore. I think was it Cypher? I don't even remember if he said he's not going to. They will not be performing Cypher 4 anymore. But for sure, Cypher 1 they won't be performing 2 and 3 anymore. And it makes sense. Once you understand what the message is, it makes sense why they don't want to perform it anymore, because they really have outgrown the message. As much as it is a great track and it's kind of nostalgic, i think um I think it is fitting for them to retire the song. Okay, so there are four ciphers: cipher 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let me just hide this so I can. Okay, so there's cipher 1, 2, 3, and 4, and part one is sort of them trying to prove their worth and declaring their ambition. They fight to be taken seriously. There is this derogatory term used in South Korea directed at idols who try to rap, because as you know, many of idols who rap aren't actual rappers. They are idols who were taught how to rap, so many of them don't even like what they're doing. One of the most vocal people about it is Jackson of GOT7. It's not that he didn't like it, but he never just considered himself to be a rapper. He said that he's just an idol who raps, but he's not a rapper. Um, Essentially, in his explanation, he kind of talked about the skill, the understanding of the art, and that was something not innate to him, and I guess not something that he really got himself into. So as a sign of respect towards the, because he respects the art and the practice and the discipline, he doesn't consider himself to be a rapper. So for true rappers, the ones that are in the underground, if they want to sort of insult the idols, they use that term, idol rappers. And so the song, the point one, Cypher point one, was actually highly concentrated in that term. In fact, that's how RM opened the verses. So they are idol rappers being dismissed by the underground scene. So this is a verbal punch, basically. This is them taking a hit not taking a hit, but blowing a hit, basically punching other people, a verbal punch to the gut for the haters. Very raw, very, very angry, but also very, very determined. Okay. So that is part one. This was still them trying to prove themselves, firing back at the critics, those that are insulting them. Part two is they've progressed because by this time they've already experienced some amount of success, and it was more about them saying, we're here, we're not gonna leave, so you can do all the hate that you want to do, but you're just gonna have to deal with it, basically, is the main message. So this is they're not exactly asking for acceptance. They're just announcing their arrival. They're just making people realize that they're here to stay, that they're going to continue what they're doing no matter what it is that others think of it. So there was like, because of Suga, because of RM, there's this line, and this is the line of J-Hope in the song. Because of Suga, because of RM, because of J-Hope. um it basically is their declaration that they will not allow themselves to be affected by the hate anymore. They're no longer outsiders trying to get in. They're just rappers, basically. They're just musicians, is the declaration. So there is a shift in the tone from aggressive to self-assertion. They're not just defending their place anymore, they're claiming their crown. The focus is, we run this show, we run this. And they're okay, and they're cocky, a little cocky, they're loud, and they're gloriously brash, is how I would say it. So it's them taking the throne for part two. For part three, this is at the height of their world domination, and they make no apologies. So it was them sort of being a little cocky as well. It's like, you tried. Yeah, you tried. You tried to bury us. You tried to put us down. So they know what success already feels like and what it tastes like. So they're owning the throne. There's still fire, they're still very, very angry, but it's more calculated. It seems like they already know how to channel their anger to their lyrics and to their rhymes and to their melodies and beats. The energy shift from let me in to you can't touch me. So it's them not asking to be accepted or not asking to be allowed in. It's just them saying, you can't touch me now. Each member sharpens his lyrical blade. The way they've written their verses and their rhymes, they are very much honed already. You know that they've matured, even in their skill. It's a different level. They dismantle the hypocrisy of the industry and keyboard warriors. So there's a lot of verses there that were directed towards people behind the keyboards who are taking who are protected by their anonymity in the internet. So this is not about proving their worth. It's just about ruling their game. Um, so there's a lot are directed towards the haters, but it's not like they are waging war. It's just a statement that they're making. And the most entertaining, I think, is point four, because it's just like declaring that I love myself, sorry. Something like that. That was the tone. Like, love myself, sorry. Sorry if you don't agree with that, or that doesn't make you feel anything, but I love myself. So they don't need to shout anymore. They are not screaming, they're not angry anymore. This is the final, so far, the final installment. It's less about the haters and more about themselves. So this is when you can feel their maturity peaked as rappers and as musicians. They talk fame, exhaustion, ambition, and love for themselves. It's like, I'm all above this now. I don't need this. I don't want to be bothered. But they are, of course, still sharper than ever. Okay, so let's go into the summary of part one, part two, part three, and part four. In part one, they are underdogs fighting to be heard and to be acknowledged, or making a promise that they will do their very best to show the world what they can do. For part two, it's their rise. So they're no longer asking, they're actually just taking. For part three, they are rulers of the arena, and they're weaponizing their fame for the good. And for part 4, it's all about enlightenment. They're enlightened artists who have nothing left to prove. Okay. So that's their evolution. And so from here you can already see why they would actually want to retire part Cypher, because it's like, we're this is us in the past. This is the chapter 1 of our story as rappers and as musicians, and it's done. Like, they've come full circle. So I understand why RM said, this, we're probably gonna retire this. This is done for us. Okay, but let's go through the individual journey and maturity of each member, each rapper. So for RM, by the way, I love this photo of RM. So for RM, in the early years, in the early ciphers, he was very punch heavy. So he was taking jabs left and right, directed at haters, detractors, keyboard warriors. So it was, his delivery was very raw. Although there's a lot of wordplay, it was still very raw. As I've said, it feels like he was boxing somebody. He was in a street fight, actually, not boxing. It felt like he was in a street fight rather than a boxing ring, because a boxing ring would actually require sophistication. But in the latter part, later in the Cypher series, it was, his wordsmithing was another level, and he uses more of sarcasm and puns and metaphors instead of actual jabs. So there are lines like "Welcome to the Monster Plaza," and he often would blend English with Korean. Okay, probably an influence of their success. Okay, so in terms of, this is in terms of form. In terms of substance, I would say that we can cut it into three. Part 1, he was fighting for legitimacy, calling out the underground purists. Part 2 and part 3, he was confident, he was dismantling haters line by line. But by part 4, he moves into ironic self awareness. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I love myself. I'm sorry." Choosing elegance over violence. He doesn't care for validation anymore. He's just very, very self assured. Okay, so let's go into specific lines in these verses. Okay. So for example, in part 1, one of the verses that really stood out, well, bars that stood out, is saying my essence is a shitty idol, you look down on me. So this was, I think, line 2 or 3, or maybe line 1 of the first cipher. So this line shows Arm's early defensiveness. You know that he still gets affected by what other people are saying about him, specifically those that are considered to be real rappers and not just idol rappers. He's reacting, very, very much reactionary. He's reacting to hate from underground scene, pushing back against being labeled an idol rapper. Again, that is a derogatory term invented by purists or quote unquote real rappers to insult idol rappers. His tone is very intense, very aggressive, very raw, and fueled by the need to prove his legitimacy as a writer and as a rapper, which is kind of crazy because he really did start underground. So to a certain degree, like he didn't need to prove it because that's where he started. For Cypher Part 2, one of the lines that stood out is, here is One Piece. One Piece is the comic book, the novel. I'm white beard, you're just long beard, essentially catfish. F it. So this is a word play. He becomes sharper, more playful. He uses pop culture reference, as I've said, One Piece, while roasting haters, indicating a growing comfort in his voice and identity. Okay, so I will do a series diving deep into each of the songs. For now, it's more like an overview of the 4 songs. Okay. For part 3, the line that stood out is, when smoke and women have affairs, I smoke beat, and this is a beat smoke. So the metaphor, it's actually a metaphor. And it's very smooth. He has evolved into someone who sees rap as second nature, elevating it beyond defense into poetic swagger. So he's not defensive anymore. He's just talking about his art, about himself. Beat smoke turns into destruction, into art. So in part three, there's a lot. His verses were riddled by wordplay. It's almost bar by bar. It's wordplay. So I will, as I've said, I'll do a separate one for that. Okay, for point four, this is when he's so dismissive. There is so much abandon in his tone. He feels like he's telling everybody he doesn't care about them. Because I'm breathing, I'm sorry, babe. Because I'm too healthy, I'm sorry, babe. So he's brushing off critics with sarcasm. The posture has flipped, no longer defending, just flexing, or more likely just abandoning all the haters, those that don't help his career, those that don't support him or inspire him. He's just dismissing everybody. It's telling them, I don't hate you anymore. And that is the final form of power, apathy, right? When you don't care. They always say that the opposite of love is not hate, it is apathy. When you don't care anymore, you don't feel anything anymore towards other people. And he got to that level. He got to the level where um, he doesn't even care about these people that are bashing him or hating on him. Okay, so from defensive to dominant to detachment. That's his journey into in this four ciphers. Okay, now on to Suga. Okay, you can get distracted again. Look at that. Why will you not get distracted with that picture? Okay, so in terms of form first, in the early years, he was very precise. Well, he has always been very precise. I think that's like a signature thing for Suga. He's so surgically precise with his words. He can say exactly what he means with very, very few words. His verses are very dense with internal rhyme, wordplay, and a lot of regional dialect. And then later on in the latter part, he is more, he actually mixing, this is actually, my God, the way that he has progressed in his verses, he progressed to, he mixes shamanic metaphors, almost godlike. He has dirty jokes, gaming slang with lyrical sophistication. So that's form. Okay, so how he wrote it. But in terms of substance, for part one, it was more shooting down jealousy and fake hip hop heads with his 4K diction. And in part two, it was ruthless takedown of underground elitism and fake pride. So he really jabbed at people who claim to be real rappers and actually understand, those who claim to understand hip hop, because very, very few actually do. Part three is full alpha mode. My gosh, this is when I can see clearly why a lot of people like part three, because this is when he went full alpha mode. He's very arrogant in the best way possible. It feels like he's saying, I eat your jealousy to grow. Like, you can get jealous. I like it when you get jealous. Part four, he's very cold, he's very calm, very reflective on his hustle, and he dismisses inferiors with keep watching, I'll earn more, something like that. So that in that way, RM and he had the same journey, because they both arrived at, coldness, abandon. They just detachment. They just don't care anymore. Okay, so one line that stood out is, I haven't served my military duty, but my hobby is sniping. So this is part one. This is me. It was just so, it was funny that he's actually now serving the military. Okay, so with that line, he showed how when you translate it into Korean, there's a wordplay in it. And again, I will go in that more in depth in a separate interview. He loves word play, but this is fueled by fire. He's able to draw all of those wordplay because he's angry. His bars are direct shots at critics. His imagery is very, very violent and very calculated. So while RM is sort of s- slashing everybody with his words, he's just very physical in his attacks. So very, very violent imagery. That's the best way I can describe it. And then for part two, he says, if I'm the sun, you're the moon, because when I rise, you fall. Um, a little bit more elegant in his metaphor. But also very philosophical. he played a lot with dualities, light and dark, mainstream and underground. So there's a lot in those, in his verses. There's like always this duality that he would mention. That's where his verses are centered. In part 3, Cypher part 3, he says, I'm a baby shaman. This is okay. He says, I'm a baby shaman. One second, so you can see another photo of Suga. I'm a baby shaman that walks the blade called the beat. This bar is actually wild because he's basically invoking spiritual power and artistry. He's no longer just a sniper, which is what he said in part 1. He wields pain, he wields pressure and rhythm like a ritual. That's actually when you try to sit down and really understand what he's saying in part 3, in Cypher part 3, that's actually how it felt like he is this god playing with the elements around him. It's it's wild, and it's very much like, it's very Shoga. Okay, part 4, he says, I'm always thankful that I've never had anything handed to me easily. Why is it my fault that your life is mediocre? And this is peak Suga. He's really matured past anger, and we know him to be that. He's very reflective, but also biting. He isn't flexing on others to prove his worth, but only to affirm his journey. Okay. So basically for him, it's all about pure dominance. Suga starts angry in part 1 and then ends with indifference. Again, very much like RM. He's already won. For him, he doesn't need to say it, he doesn't need to prove it. He's already won. And he just critiques hypocrisy. He boasts about his success, but under all of that is the deadly work ethic. He just wants to emphasize that I am here because I worked for it, not because it was handed to me. Okay, now for J Hope. I think of the three, he is the one with the most obvious evolution and progress as a rapper. Okay, so in terms of form, in the early years, it was more straightforward, less layered. But and when I mean less layered, it was he's more direct in the things that he's saying. His verses are simpler. I wouldn't say simpler, but yeah, more direct. If that's the best way I can describe it. But later on in part 3 or part 4, that's when you can hear the wit. He's so vibrant. His verses are so vibrant. There's a lot of metaphors. I'm a cat, all the mouse, something like that. All I'll be the director on top. So there's a lot. That's when you can, as I've said, that's why I think he of the three, he's the one who actually, in terms of form, changed a lot because he just changed how he delivers his message. It used to be I'm angry, so he'll just say I'm angry. Later on, he just started using metaphors, wordplay, and all of those stuff. Okay, in terms of substance, for part 1, he says it's more about him trying to prove that he belongs. He talks about where he came from. Part 2, he's trying to assert who he is. He owns his voice and his power. Part 3, there's a lot of swagger now, but there's also a lot of sincerity. And for part 4, he's much of a visionary. His personality as a visionary actually comes out. There's he talks about his legacy and what else he wants to do in the future. So for him, it's a journey from proving something to actually celebrating what he has become. Okay, so let's go bar for bar in each of the ciphers. For cipher 1, one of the verses that really hit is this: I was just one of those kids in Gwangju who wanted to become an idol. So when I say it's very direct, this is it. Like whatever it is that he wants to say, he'll just say it plainly, right? So I was just one of those kids in Gwangju who wanted to become an idol. So for him, it's he's not really out to embellish his verses with anything else but the exact message that he wants to deliver. So it also was a declaration of his ambition more than trying to trash anybody. For Cypher part 2, um this line is one of the best. Burning tire, we run. And this is a nod at their other songs, specifically Run, I think. So he was sort of on his way to discovering who he is as a writer and as a hip hop artist. So for him, it's more about the discovery, him saying, okay, I'm not going to pay attention to you as much. I'm just going to pay attention to my own art. So not as strong and as dirty as Suga and RM. For him, it's more introspective. And then for Cypher part three, he says rolling, rolling, biggle, bigling. And so this is when he started to play with words. He started to do metaphor. And it's more energy for him. He's like, oh my God, I finally know who I am. I'm just going to go for it. I will not care about anybody else. So of the three, he's actually the one who takes less jabs at others. He takes more internal reflection. It's more reflection for him. And then for Cypher point four, he talks about, he said, each stitch sewed one at a time. If you can't do it, just tie it off. So all three in part four, they were all about abandon. He didn't care. Just like the other three, he didn't care anymore. So this is when he actually talks of his legacy, what he has been able to do, what else he will do, and him declaring, you never mattered to me and you will never matter to me anyway. So the Cypher series, in all, it's not just about the rap battles. It's not just about them displaying their skill. It's actually a mirror of BTS's journey, specifically the journey of the rap line. Because almost all of them, specifically RM and Suga, started underground. They were both underground rappers. On the other hand, J-Hope was an underground dancer. So it was a street dancer. So still, all of them started underground. And from there, when they started becoming an idol, when they started training, we all know of that historical interview together with Be Free. That was the epitome. It was the a visual and sonic representation of the things that they were going through. Like they were just minding their own business, and people kept on invalidating them as writers, not caring about where they came from, insulting them, belittling them. So for from underestimated rookies to chart topping legends, from fighting the system to outgrowing the system, from you don't respect me to I don't need your respect because I got mine. I respect myself. And it's also a masterclass in how each member actually maintains their own style, voice while pushing each other forward. You're not just hearing three rappers flex, you're actually watching them evolve, hearing them evolve, and following their narratives as rappers. So across all four ciphers, we watch them from being I'd say reactive and defensive rappers to actually being polished, being self-governing, being alphas, being controllers of their own destiny. So they stop by the end, they stop responding to hate, and they started crafting their own legacy. But that part is done, as we know. That chapter is done. They're done proving themselves. They are now exploring their own artistry. So I understand why all of them, well, not all of them, yeah, I guess it's all of their decision. Now I understand why they said they don't want to perform this anymore. They will be retiring this because this does not represent them. And if you're a rapper or a hip hop artist, one of the things that is sacred to you is how much of your art actually represents you or the story that you want to tell. So okay, do you have questions? Be Free is in jail. um, so this guy, I think, I I feel bad for him after what he did. The amount of dislike. This happened when dislike was still visible on YouTube. And so a lot of armies actually went to his channel and disliked his video. So I kind of feel bad for him because, this is living. um I mean, YouTube is not the only source of music for him, and if he has real underground fans, then I'm assuming that they would help him some other way. But still, it kind of sorta stunted his growth, because none of his songs were recommended on YouTube. And at that time, YouTube was very, very influential in discovering new music. And then he was just barraged by fans because of what he did to Suga and RM. Later on, he did apologize and then took it back again. Something. And when that happened, I think that's when I realized that he has issues, and RM and Suga had nothing to do with it. He has his own internal issues that he needs to work on. So, yeah, I do think that he went to jail. I'm not sure if he has gotten out. B Freeze has tried apologizing. Yeah, so he tried apologizing. Army didn't accept it, or at least some armies didn't accept it. And so he went on an offensive again. He went something like, if I see your oppa, I'm going to punch them in the face, or something like that. Which, and so something like that, somebody says something like that, you kind of know this person has issues. It's not worth talking about. But also, maybe this guy has kids. I'm not sure. I don't follow his career. But if he does, of course, I want the child to have a good chance at a good life. And that means his father actually earning money to sustain her. Bang Luna. You are too kind. Yeah. The one thing that I wanted to concentrate in that video when that thing happened is just how much Arm and Suga actually held their own. You can see how they held their own. And at such a young age, getting publicly bullied by somebody like him, who's actually pretty respected at that time in the underground scene, that was hard, right? They were so young, so young. But the way that they held themselves, the way that they behaved and answered, they were very, very smart in their answers. I would rather highlight that. Yeah. Luna said he's a bad rapper. Yeah. Be free. Be gone. I don't know, be free. So Lily, if you want to, I think the video is still online. Uh, there's this very, very early in their career, maybe 2013, early 2014. They went to a radio station, and they, meaning RM and Suga, they went to a radio station, a radio show, and they were talking about hip hop. And so, um, and Be Free, who was an underground rapper, started berating them and talking about, saying that they sold out. Yeah, that they sold out because I think everyone knew that they were underground rappers, and that um uh and that they became idols, and so they were humiliating. They meaning Be Free. He was trying to humiliate Arm and Suga for doing that. It was very painful to watch. But also, if you try not to concentrate on him and just concentrate on Arm and Suga, you'd be proud of just how well they held their own. They held their own at that age. They were so young, and they held their own. So uh at the end of it all, the main question that Suga asked is, why is being an idol selling out? That's the question that he asked, that nobody dared to answer. That just because we are an idol doesn't mean that we turned our backs on our roots, you know. So, and I think that Suga having been able to drive that point across was very important, because that's how actually they ended the interview with them. They were like, okay, but nobody answered that, because any other answer would not be good. It wouldn't look good to others. I mean, so yeah. Hi, Dion. Hi, I remember Be Free assaulted someone and went to jail years ago. Yes, I just don't know if he has gotten out already. He was jealous and later sold out himself. Yes, that is true. I can't believe that happened. They handled themselves well. It would have led to a fight here in the US. It would have led to a fight here in the US, correct? I think the one thing that stopped the two is the age, because they're being older comes with power and privilege. So Be Free was also talking about how they wear makeup. He has no idea that all artists wear makeup, and so many rappers are far from the image they portray. Um, yeah, he said that. He mentioned something about wearing makeup, and yes, it seems that he has no idea that a lot of rappers actually, well, a lot of singers, male, female, but let's just concentrate on male. A lot of singers actually do wear makeup, even the rock stars, especially when they go to when they shoot. So but he was underground, so he hasn't really experienced a lot. Um, didn't Suga say in a song that the haters better be glad he's an idol? He did say that. He said that. What is up with this new boy band? HYBE is debuting soon. May, they said. They are going to debut in May. They were already, so they're starting to market the group. In fact, their arrival from Japan, I believe. Someone sent me a picture. I haven't really looked through it, but I think from LA going to South Korea, the marketing team already announced their arrival, and so fans were already there. So I think they're trying to build like the core community already. So 5 members, yeah. But I haven't really. There's a lot of people sending me stuff on a daily basis, which I'm very very thankful for. By the way, it's hard to research. So one of those would be them arriving and getting marketed already. So they're starting to market the group. I'm just a little surprised that they haven't formally released a teaser or anything like that. But this one of the members actually has a writing or producing credit on Magnetic. And then the other co-choreographed the routine. So these are musicians, not just idols. They have this they write their own songs. He was just straight up hating. He called them girls for wearing makeup. That was so disrespectful. Yeah, nowadays that won't fly, right? Those insults won't fly. We now know, we people should have the consciousness to know that being called a girl is not an insult. That's number one. And wearing makeup should not be an insult, or being gay for that matter should not be an insult. So I think by now we should have that consciousness. So during that time, that was like okay because we didn't have that consciousness then, but now it shouldn't happen anymore. Is this a group? Is this a group with Martin and James? Yep, that is a group. Yeah. So they already have an official fan club manager. They already have an official social media. They have their official social media accounts already. So the pre-marketing is already starting. Mandy J, I have noticed a lot of older males or the ones more conservative feels threatened by makeup on men. Bang PD was mad. I wish they would to a run BTS with scooter races. Okay. What do you mean relay on BTS? BTS is all we need. Huh? Relay on BTS? I know, but I still want him on that scooter. Japanese group as well. They said there's a Japanese group, but I think the Japanese group is not big hit. So this group, the reason it's actually getting attention is that it is coming from Big Hit, which is the private company where BTS is signed. So uh they are going to be they're going to be co-workers, direct co-workers of BTS because they're under one label. So in the next family picture, there's going to be Yoon, the only soloist, BTS, TXT, and then them in the next family picture. Bang Luna. I don't know why they grew up with rockers with guys. I know, right? I mean, Kiss, all of this. And as I've said, all celebrities, when they shoot a commercial, they have to wear makeup. So I don't know where his hatred is coming from. Probably from the lack of attention, the lack of success. Okay. All right. So just want to give you an update. Is Be Free a serious threat to BTS? No. Nope. Nope. BTS paved the way, said Hybe can't rely on BTS anymore. Okay. So I think in terms of like BTS be remaining to be the most profitable brand and IP of Big Hit and Hybe for that matter, I do think that even BTS would want to slow down. I think in the next couple of years, because they're going to be active, then it's going to be them again. But there has to be conscious effort to try and move away from that because you can't drive the boys to the ground, right? You can't work them to insanity. You can't. At some point, the kids would want to live their lives, do other things away from the public eye, just pursue like art, not really conscious of, not thinking about like profit. So, and also BTS are partial owners of Hybe. They're the fifth biggest stockholders of Hybe. So of course they want to sort of be a little bit, have more passive income than them having to do everything just to be able to earn. So yes, for us, of course, we'll always support BTS, but I do think that at some point, the entire company, Hybe included, like Hybe and all of this, they need to build up their own money making IPs in order to, so it we can't rely they can't rely on BTS forever. So will Big Hit have to go through another group going military service again? But TXT will have to serve. They're still young, so I think I believe they still have several years. But TXT will have to do that. So yes, I hope they have more balance in their lives. Yeah, I mean, I hope they can just do whatever it is that will make them happy, whatever that looks like. Like, I'm sure that some of them will want to continue with their solo careers, right? Just doing like solo stuff, and probably all of them in different capacities and different types. But yes, I do want them to, but then also when they choose to slow down, I want them to be able to slow down and not have to worry about the profitability of the company that they built. So, okay, have my passport ready. So, update, is this it? No, that's not it. Maybe this. Nope, that's not it. That's 7 Fates CHAKHO. So just want to give you an update on what happened with the injunction. So as you know, April 3, there is a main lawsuit, right? So this the first hearing happened in May 3, the primary lawsuit. So this is when Hybe actually asked the court to validate the validity of their exclusive contract with NewJeans. So that's the main lawsuit. So the hearing for this happened in April 3, 2025. Okay. Now there's another one, and this is the follow up to the injunction. If you would remember, in the injunction, the court sided with Adore and asked NewJeans to stop doing business outside of Adore. Okay. So that follow up, the objection in the injunction ruling, the hearing for that happened April 9, 2025. And there's something funny that happened. So NJZ, NewJeans will challenge the injunction. This is when they challenged the injunction before the same judge who originally issued the decision. Okay, so what happened? Let's talk about the injunction first. Their appeal to not uphold the injunction ruling. There are several things that happened. One is that Min Hee Jin's PR agency was allegedly the people behind a very big fandom account that manipulate public opinion and wage public feuds. So the account's original purpose, this is Team Bunnies. Team Bunnies, the account of Team Bunnies, apparently the owner is Min Hee-jin's PR agency, or the PR agency of owned by or partnering with the law firm of Min Hee-jin. So the account's original purpose was just to boost streams for New Jeans. But if it is proven that they are owned and operated by the PR agency of Min Hee-jin, then it will constitute illegal backdoor advertising. And as we know, Kakao has already been fined for illegal advertising. Okay, so how did they discover that Team Bunnies was actually being operated by the PR agency of Min Hee-jin? So there's this text message being exchanged. They did not reveal the entire text message. So, but this part here, the one where that's above the hand, that name above the hand. So they followed the trace of this name. So it's a name. They follow this, and they discovered that it's actually the same name in the press released by the same agency. So this same agency of Min Hee-jin, they handle other clients, right? And so they would release press releases. They would do press releases for other clients that they manage. They discovered that the name of this person in the text message that is related to New Jeans is the same name as one of the people in the PR agency because they saw it in the release. Okay. So, and it traces back to the PR agency, which is McCall Consulting Agency. So now they know that there is a link. So the person in the text message has the same name as the person in the press release by the PR firm, and the PR firm was traced to McCall. Okay. All right. And so this is a person. Now, I posted it because it is public information. It's not like they're hiding it. Their LinkedIn profile is actually public. They may have made it private now, but it was public. So that is the person that was in the press release and also working for McCall Consulting Group. So now people are saying that this Twitter account and YouTube account and whatever account, this is being operated by the PR agency. Now, for the fair advertising, they need to be able to disclose. They need to disclose when the posts are actually paid, which they didn't. So that could constitute illegal advertising, which the same thing where Kakao is being punished for. Okay. Now, that aside, another development, New Jeans fans are asking other New Jeans fans to look for evidence and help New Jeans and the law firm of New Jeans to have a better case. So they're saying look for evidence that will prove they were mistreated, that Adore violated their contract, that they were not given fair treatment. So they're basically crowdsourcing evidence. That's what's happening. They are crowdsourcing evidence. And if you have a Twitter account, if you go on X, you will find a lot of the submissions of of, the- of the fans. They're funny. Like they're one evidence was that um I think was it Wani, but one member of Isle It was wearing a similar looking headband. It's not even the same headband. It just looks similar because both had like laces and both are white. And then they say that this is proof that Isle It actually swiped New Jeans. So that kind of evidence is what they're actually collecting. But so they are making an effort to ask the fans of New Jeans to submit evidence to help the law firm make their case better. Okay. Now the deadline was supposed to be yesterday because today well, yeah, today in the US was when the hearing actually took place. All right. So another thing that was disclosed is that apparently that one parent, if you would remember, there was one NewJeans parent who allegedly disclosed um, or leaked some information to the media about the plans of the parents in Minhee. So initially, everyone was saying Harin's parents, but apparently it is Hain's father. So I guess they're not together. The mother and the father aren't together. And the father, so they had joint legal custody. So the father didn't want New Jeans, or at least his daughter, to join the termination of the contract. And so when they were making moves, the father didn't want to sign. So the mother took it to court, and the court sided with her. So Yain is still very young. She's still a minor. So the court sided with the mother and granted the mother full custody, physical and legal custody of Yain. And so the one person in that group that didn't agree with what they were doing has lost his legal and physical rights over his daughter because of this thing. Okay. Now, of course, as you could imagine, a lot of bunnies weren't happy because they felt like Yain is being thrown under the bus, and why are they mentioning Yain's condition? This is a family matter. But this was released by the court. Okay, this entire thing was actually released by the court. Okay, how these people? Joanne is asking how these people don't know all of this couldn't be tracked. Okay, so as you know, he opposed it. So the mother went to the court, asked the court to grant her exclusive legal and physical custody, which he got. And so now nobody's standing in their way. Now, okay, so that's another thing. One more thing. Before the hearing to appeal their injunction. So remember, they appealed their injunction. NewJeans appealed the decision of the court to grant Adore exclusive rights to manage them. Before that happened, after the decision, the initial decision of the injunction, NewJeans actually went to Hong Kong to perform. And did not they didn't communicate with the staff of Adore and continue with their performance and continue to sell merchandise using their name, NJZ, not New Jeans, and without the knowledge or cooperation of Adore. Okay, so they violated basically what the law this court wanted them to do. And so what happened was that they started erasing their digital footprints. So their Instagram account, they actually changed the name. So it used to be NJZ, they changed the name. They tried to delete as many photos as they could of the things that they were doing that actually violated what the court ordered them to do. And that is basically to go back to Adore. So during the hearing, um, after the hearing happened, the lawyer of NewJeans actually didn't say much. They didn't talk to the press. The lawyer of Adore did, and they said that nothing really changed, which is an indication that nothing substantial happened. Like there's not really a lot of new evidence, if there is any at all. And allegedly, the hearing ended in 10 minutes. This is like if you are on jury duty, this is your ideal scenario. You're done in 10 minutes. You can go home, go back to work, and rest. So the hearing actually ended in 10 minutes. So I mean, very short. Nothing much to say. That only that it ended in 10 minutes. Nobody knows what happened. But done in 10 minutes. I guess the judge was either rushing to go home or something. I don't know. Adore's statement implied that NewJeans' side repeated their previous concerns, their complaints. So nothing really new. If you would remember, after the initial injunction, when Adore disclosed the text message of Hani to Min Hee-jin stating that she wasn't really sure whether or not, um, basically saying that she actually didn't hear the manager saying ignore them, in her text messages with Min Hee-jin. When Adore disclosed that text message, Hani posted on Instagram and said that, you put it out of context and I'm going to come out with the complete story. So apparently that didn't happen. There was no complete story, or maybe, just maybe, she's waiting for the main lawsuit before disclosing what happened. Okay. But the point is that for this injunction hearing, nothing happened. The other thing that Adore did was to request for clarification. They want NewJeans to explain if it is true that Min Hee-jin helped them in their Hong Kong performance. So they want that cleared out because they are assuming that she didn't help, but they want to be sure. So they're asking the court to ask NewJeans, was was um was Miss Irrelevant actually involved in this case in the preparation? But this is catch 22 for catch 22 for NewJeans. If they say that Miss Irrelevant, Mama Irrelevant, the Irrelevant Roach, is that the new name? If the Irrelevant Roach, um, if they say that the Irrelevant Roach wasn't involved in the preparation, then HYBE can say then she's not necessary for you to be able to continue your work because you were able to perform without her. If they say that she was involved, then that's breach. So, so it's catch 22 for Adore. I mean, for NewJeans. Either way, you're cooked. So, that their lawyer better have some really good explanation. But at this point, it's not looking good for them. Um, if they lie and it's found out, is that a big perjury? You shouldn't. Number one, this is one thing I keep on telling everybody: don't even put it in your head that you can lie to the court. You will be found out. But to answer your question, yes, that is perjury, yes. So that is perjury, that is contempt, and the court doesn't like being disrespected. That is the one thing you should never ever do. So, but yes, if they lied and Adore is able to prove that they lied, then yes, that is perjury. Okay, so they have been erasing many of their digital footprints. Now, this part, um, okay, so that is for the injunction. That's what happened in the injunction. Now, for the main lawsuit, the hearing happened April 3. And in the main lawsuit, the girls didn't attend. So remember, in the injunction, the initial injunction, they actually attended the hearing, but for this one, they didn't. And they only released a statement saying, we're not just talking about Min Hee-jin. When Min Hee-jin was ousted and new management came under HYBE, the new management had completely different values from the past and become a different corporation. The relationship of trust has been broken, so we cannot continue together. We hope that rather than looking just at Min Hee-jin in this situation where she has been kicked out, we hope the court will look into whether the past and current Adore is the same agency the group has trusted and whether it is in line for them to continue with the current Adore. So the thing is that she was not kicked out. Min Hee-jin was actually asked to come back as the producer of NewJeans. She was told, you can continue your contract, finish their contract, and continue becoming the producer. She declined. So this is not correct. She was not kicked out. She was kicked out as a CEO, but she wasn't kicked out as the creative director and producer of NewJeans. It was her who refused to come back. So that's one inconsistency. Second is that I'm sure many of you are employed or were employed. If the CEO changes, that doesn't give us the right to demand that we put back the old CEO, and that there's not an excuse to do our job. You still continue doing your job no matter what happens. So The judge apparently was very perplexed with the situation. So I don't know if you can read it, but the main thing that he was saying is that their their grounds, basically their main reason for asking the court to sever their ties to Adore, is really very emotionally driven. It's not factual, and the court has to deal with facts. So they're saying that it is no longer the company we signed because of Min Hee Jin's removal, but the judge pushed back and said leadership changes are common in K-pop, and artists cannot use that as grounds to void a contract. The judge described this case as highly unusual, and questioned whether the absence of a specific producer alone is enough to say that trust has been broken, especially because the judge was made aware that they were actually paid and they are actually being treated well. They got a lot of money in the first and the second year of their contract. They have this high end building where it was actually specifically designed for them. They get a lot of vacation. So the judge can't really see at this stage why. Like other, he said that other groups would ask for the to invalidate the contract because they're not getting paid. This is the first time where somebody came forward who has gotten paid well and still want to invalidate the contract. And given that it is not your choice as somebody who works for the company, and it is not your company, you don't have a choice on who as to who is going to be the CEO. So for now, he said it's very strange. He has never seen anything like this before. So there is another hearing for the second injunction. Sorry, this injunction, the appeal. When they appealed the injunction, it was actually a private hearing, but it was over in 10 minutes. And then for this one, the next one I think is going to be June. No, May. Yeah, May. There's another one. There's another hearing. It's going to be May. But do remember that for this main lawsuit, it can take up to 3 years before things are decided. And as of now, I think the game plan of NewJeans is to just try and delay everything. So I think they're just gonna keep on filing an appeal. So after this one, it is very possible that they already know and the law firm already is aware that they don't have a case. They are just trying to delay it. So I think after this, they're going to, if the injunction still favors, the appeal to the injunction still favors Adore, they're going to have to file an appeal to the higher court. And that can take longer. And then appeal again and appeal again. So I think that's just their gameplay. There's a lot of money involved because you're basically going to be paying the law firm for their hours. But at least in their head, they don't have to go back to Adore. On the other hand, Adore's game plan is to continue proving that they're doing their best to give NewJeans opportunities. So, and then just show that NewJeans is the one that keeps on saying no to opportunities. So it is the classic CYA, cover your ass. So I think that's what they're doing. They're covering their ass. They're going to continue trying to work it out. They're going to make an effort. They just actually released a statement saying that they're going to sue everybody who's trying to um, bully NewJeans online. And then I think they're just going to continue trying to look for jobs, for brand deals, and they will have to show, for as long as they can show that it is NewJeans that's saying no, then they are covered. The court will see that they're actually doing their job. So I still am a firm believer that Adore doesn't expect NewJeans to come back. They just want to make sure that they get paid, that the contract, that they will pay the penalty once the court says, okay, you can't force them to work for you. So you just continue working, you just pay them. Adore is still paying them as per term. They will get paid for the work that they do. So they get paid for streaming if there's any kind of sales, if there's any kind of for their albums or their songs, if people buy their merch legally from Weavers, then they still get a cut. So yes, you are correct. They still get paid as per the contract. They still get their share. And I'm sure that Adore is making sure that everything is right and everything is transparent because, again, CYA. But yes, so they also cannot accept any kind of work without the intervention of Adore. I hear New Jeans fandom is asking the girls to go back to Adore. Do you think Adore would consider them coming back after everything? I really don't think so. I think, as I've mentioned, the play is just to make sure that the court knows and sees that they are doing everything they can to make it work. They just want to prove to the court that there is no stone unturned. We've done everything we could, and it is them who don't want to cooperate. So that when the court says, okay, you can't force them to work for you, but then the court will find it fair that Adore gets paid because they've done their work. So you need to pay them. So as I've mentioned in TVXQ, when the three members eventually became JYJ, separated from SM Entertainment, they still continued paying a share to SM Entertainment until the entire fine was paid off. So I think that's what Adore is probably gunning for. They're already accepting new trainees. Um, And it looks like Kakao is sick of this and selling Kakao Entertainment. They know they're not getting a new group. Yeah, so I'll show you. So yes, I posted on Patreon about this, about Kakao selling the entertainment division of their company. So here. All right, let me make sure. Got it? Yes. Okay. So Kakao has an entertainment division, and what they have always wanted to do was turn that into a public company. That's why they've been acquiring different entertainment companies, and one of the companies that they actually have acquired is the Dolphiners, which is the company of the director that Min Hee-jin worked with a lot. And also they acquired SM Entertainment. There was somebody who left a comment on my YouTube channel saying that if Kakao is actually the mother company, because Kakao apparently wanted to become a multi-label system. Oh, not wanted to become. They actually said that they are a multi-label company. The same thing that HYBE actually did. So HYBE is a multi-label company. They have different labels under them. So apparently for them, they also have different labels under them. SM, um, Starship, there's another one, and then they have a production company, which is the Dolphiners, and then they have an animation studio. All of that is under one company. So they actually call themselves multi-label company formally in a press release. So the game plan was to actually go public. They wanted to go IPO, but that didn't happen. It's likely that it's not going to happen because of the many things that are getting in the way, primarily the scandals, all the bad press that they are getting. They are finding it hard to actually value the company, and many of the investors are actually wanting to tap out. So the initial investors of Kakao Entertainment, they want to sell their shares. So it looks like that's where they are headed. They are going to sell the management rights of Kakao Entertainment. So this is the Webtoon Entertainment. This is their Webtoon company that they bought. Okay, and then these are the companies under them. They have a music entertainment agency, Webtoon and Web Novels Media Production Company. So for music entertainment agency, that includes SM, that includes Starship, and then media production company Dolphiners is one of them. So these are the majority shareholders of Kakao. So Kakao owns 66% of the company, and then there's a Hong Kong-based PEF Anchor PE, which is an investor, 12%. They also have a special purpose corporation created by Anchor PE and Singapore GIC. These are just investors. They own 6.73%. Saudi Arabia PIF 5.1, and then Tencent owns 4.5%. So now what these people want, all this is to actually tap out. They just want to liquidate their money and forget everything. So now, because it looks like they're not going to be able to go public, they are trying to sell the company, which is kind of funny after all the trouble they've caused other companies and other artists, specifically HYBE. Here they are selling their company. They fought HYBE tooth and nail to gain control of SM, and then they can't do anything with it. Like, how idiotic can you be to not have any kind of plan for this? Like, at the very least, if you're going to spend billions and millions of billions of dollars to acquire a company, or millions of dollars to acquire a company, you should have a rock solid plan on what to do with that company. Apparently they don't, and now they're just trying to sell it. So people are asking, do I think Hybe would want to buy it? Maybe. I don't want them to. I mean, the company is in shambles. SM is in shambles. There's just, they have, and you know this, I love espa. They're one of my favorites, but I just really think that they have mismanaged a lot of their groups, and that includes espa. So if they take on SM, they're gonna have to do a surgical operation. This is an entire. This is not just repairs. This is, they're gonna have to replace the engine, the entire engine. That's what's gonna happen, and then maybe even the body, which makes it an entirely new company. But the IPs that they have aren't earning as much because they're big in Korea, but they're not so big in other parts of Asia. Fairlane, KAKAO is auditing SM for dirty pranks. You see, this is what, isn't this crazy? Like, you're auditing SM for dirty practices? Sure, sure. Dolphiners, yes. Dolphiners is the production company that they bought. Keep Hybe from that nest of vipers. SM has such jewels, but such awful internal problems. Exactly, exactly. I still believe, well, Red Velvet, call me old, but I do think they're one of the most talented groups ever, especially with Wendy there. Um, I think they mismanaged Red Velvet. They are mismanaging Espa. I think they should be bigger by now. I think they should be selling out stadiums by now all over the world, not just in Korea, but all over the world. But I feel like their initial concept wasn't followed through. Everyone forgot about it, and they're just like, they lost their initial identity. And then you have the NCT groups, and they don't know what to do. They just, it's a mess. So is NewJeans planning to join Bana? If NewJeans is planning to join Bana, they're screwed. I don't think they have the consciousness right now. I don't think they know the consequences of any of the things that they're doing. Would that be like inviting a skunk? Well, you build an entirely different home. You don't let them in. Yeah, I hope Hype doesn't. I mean, if there's any kind of expansion, any other kind of expansion they should be making, it should be Europe, Latin America, North America. I think that's where they should be expanding. But I think for Korea, it's okay. They have enough. Yeah, so I also hope they don't. Okay. If would wait, let's look for question. Too bad Hybe just can't buy the contracts at a good price, and to the heck with the rest. Yes, Wendy left SM. I know, right? I mean, one of my wishes is actually one for Hybe to have a division devoted to soloists and rock bands. Non-pop performers. Maybe that can be a door. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Wendy is one of the most talented artists ever. I mean, one of the most talented vocalists. In fact, one of the many, I don't know if you know this, that well, one of the many criticisms towards Wendy is that when she sings and hits the high notes, it doesn't feel like, a lot of people are saying this, like, oh, it looks like she's um lip syncing because she doesn't look like she's making an effort. And I'm like, it looks like she's not making an effort because she can reach the note. No problem. What do you want her to do? Act like she's having a hard time reaching that note? That's how talented she is. But yes, I do feel that there are certain artists in SM that are being mismanaged. Okay. So I think I have time for one more before I go. Let's do um let's do this. KKK. Let's do 7 Fates Chakos. So have you read the novel, the graphic novel, 7 Fates Chakos? Has anyone read it? The Has anyone read the graphic novel, the comic book? I'm not seeing anybody responding. I don't know if I'm like frozen or just nobody's responding. Oh, there you go. Okay, I see Fire Butterfly said I have not. Okay, so I will have spoilers. I will have spoilers. So if you don't want any spoiler, I'm gonna give you 1 minute or a couple of minutes to tap out because I'm gonna mention the characters and background of the characters. So if you don't want any kind of spoilers, you can tap out now. You have never Debbie, you've never heard of it? Like 7 chapters. Okay. So I'm gonna do some spoilers. So if you don't want to hear it, I'm gonna give you 30 more seconds to tap out before I proceed. Because I will discuss each of the characters and then I'm going to discuss the remake that Cloverworks did that a lot of armies don't like. Was it different from the webtoon? No, I will discuss first the original 7 Fates Chacos. And then I'm going to discuss why I specifically don't like the remake that Cloverworks did. Kakao Entertainment includes Antenna Entertainment, who has several soloists. Perhaps if Kakao splits up the company, they can acquire Antenna Music, Big Hit and HYBE. Okay, I can handle the pain of spoilers. All right, so 7 Fates Chacos is the webtoon and graphic novel based on the Seven Boys, BTS. And I say is actually based on the Seven Boys because the Seven Boys actually created a promotional marketing tool. Is it a book? It's a comic book. It's a comic book. And so the seven characters are actually based on the Seven Boys, um, because they specifically correlated every character in the comic book to one member. And the boys actually did this entire film. I'm going to show a little of it. 1 second here. Oh, no, wait, here. Okay. Do you see it? All right. I'll play a little of the there. So this is the trailer that they created. This is Suga. Okay. And then this is V. That's V. This is, you're seeing it, right? Okay, yeah. So this is V. This is their official story film. That's V. That's J Hope. That's J Hope. After J Hope, you have Jin. That's Jin. And then our Maknae, Jungkook. There you go. Maknae Jungkook. And then Jimin. Okay. That's Jimin. After that, we have RM. RM. And then the title is 7 Fates Chacos. Okay. So they created this entire official story film. That's the full version. You can go to YouTube if you want to watch the entire thing. So the official story film gives you an idea on what the character, each of the character looks like. It is based on the names in, it is based on each of the members of BTS. Also, the name of the characters here was the same name they used as the characters of BTS in Begins Youth. Okay. So there's, it's marketed as the story of BTS. All right. So let's go through each of the characters. Love the song Stay Alive. I do too. So this is Jin, and his name is One. And he becomes a bomb hunter. Bomb is tiger in, but these are monster tigers in this universe. So he actually became a bomb hunter. So they're like evil. They like killing people and eating people. Now he became a bomb hunter after his entire family was actually killed by a bomb. So characterization, he's very mischievous, he's very playful, but he becomes a smooth, he becomes admirable, like he becomes such a man when he's hunting. His character is a testament to Korea's long history with archery and how Koreans became known for their extraordinary archery abilities. Okay, all right, so that's Jin. And then we have Suga. This is Suga. Sane is the name. He survived a bomb attack. So Jin's family was actually taken by a bomb. Sane himself was attacked by a bomb, but he survived it. It takes Sane a long time to physically recover from the attack, and he's mentally struggling with his past when he meets the rest of the CHAKHO team. After feeling lost for a long time, he finally becomes stable as he develops healthy and deep bonds with the other six boys starring in the series. Okay. Now, this is J Hope's character. This is J Hope. And his character, as I've said, is the same name as the one in Begins Youth, and his name is Hosu. And he was once kidnapped by a bomb and had to do horrible things in order to survive in the den. So he was treated like an animal. After committing terrible acts, he won't talk about it. He develops golden eyes with mysterious origins. His destiny eventually leads him to the rest of the CHAKHO team members as he tries to overcome his dark past. Beautiful, right? This is one of my favorite backgrounds, Hosu, because of the mystery. I like mysteries. RM plays a crime expert, very, very intellectual. Okay. And his character is a hardened crime expert who's been forced to survive in the back alleys of Cincy in 7 Fates Chacos. Given the hard life he's led so far, he had to learn how to use various firearms and rely on his physical strength to survive. Dogon, again the same name used in Begins Youth, initially refuses to join the Chacos team because he's used to working alone, but he eventually agrees to join them after several chance encounters with them. He's very intelligent and perceptive, making him a valuable asset to his new team. So he was like the leader, like RM. Okay, and this is V's character. Okay, V, and his name is Juan. Is Juan the same name as in Begins Youth? His ability to love beyond his own species complicates his life because love between a hunter and a hunted is forbidden. He fell in love with a bomb. So he's like, yeah, he fell in love with a bomb, basically. Also, I love the storyline of V as well because it gives him such depth. Because you look at him in a different manner. Jimin's character Haru is one of my favorites as well. He's different from everybody else because he's like a god. He was originally a rock that guarded the gate between the human world and the world of Bomb. After living for a long time, the rock became human and took on the characteristics of a wise master for others to look up to. Haru will play a pivotal role in seven Fates chakras as he helps guide everyone along their intended path. So he's like a god. Okay. All right. Thank you, Seda. All right. So, and then Jungkook's character. Okay. Jungkook's character is, he's actually the center of the entire story. Zeha, he woke up in a hospital without his memories after encountering a strange man and discovers the supernatural tigers called Bomb are threatening the city of Shinsi. However, Zeha soon realizes he's a human bomb hybrid who ironically uses his bomb powers to hunt them. And so at first he didn't like himself. He didn't like what he became, what he was. But spoiler, as I've mentioned already in the beginning, I'm going to be saying a lot of spoiler alerts. Um, the duo, actually, the constant partners are Zeha and Haru because it was Haru. Zeha was sort of inspired to tap into his skills to save to save Haru. Okay. Now, Cloverworks bought the rights to the story. The story that they have is original. It has no connection to the current story. So you can think of it as a different story. No connection to this one. They bought the non-exclusive rights and it is not connected to the story. And they took liberty in changing this story. Okay. The problem is that the title is a BTS IP. In fact, they created an OST, Stay Alive, and they made an introduction film about it. So that IP is actually BTS's IP. That's the problem. So any changes that you make, it's kind of like, think about it as BT21. If you take out one of the characters, you take out Tata, for example, or you take out Chimmy or Shuki, no one's gonna like it, right? So, because although that is not BTS, that is an IP that is totally detached from BTS. It is BTS's IP, and each character is connected to the original, to a member of BTS. So they changed all the characters, but completely transformed. So there's not a lot of the depth that I came to appreciate in the original Chakos. It's not there anymore. But the two people they completely transformed is J Hope's character and Jimin's character. They transformed Jimin into a girl, a child, and a ghost. And then J Hope became a villain. So he was actually the one they were hunting. And so initially, I was like, this is an entirely different story. One of the things that we do need to look in, pay attention to, is that when it comes to 7 Fates Chakos, it says in the title with BTS. So it seems to be a separate IP and it was attached to BTS. So at first I was like, I don't like it because it is, as I've said, attached to BTS and you completely transform two characters. And BTS has always been seven. It's not seven anymore. It's like five characters plus two. They also put some sexual tone. It's not an undertone, it's full on sexual tone in the story, with one character using sex to bait the other character. Now, I don't care if it is like a gay relationship, man to man relationship. I really don't care. I care about how they portray the character and how the character is actually using sex to bait the other character. I don't want it to be a cunning, like use sex to bait one person to do what you want. Um, it is stereotyping. It's an old trick, and it's low and it's very cheap. Now, a lot of a lot of manga actually use that kind of characterization. So fine, still don't like it. That just because it's common doesn't mean I have to like it. So that's one. Again, I don't care about the sexual relationship. I care about how the other character is being portrayed to use sex to bait the other character. Okay. Mandy J, yes. The answer to your question is yes. Okay. So, and then they made an intro. As I've said, they made an intro, a 10-minute film to introduce the characters. So Cloverworks created a 10-minute film to introduce the characters. So I had my friend translate it into Japanese. Sorry, it's a Japanese. It was original Japanese. My friend translated it into English. I will post it on Patreon for my subscribers. You can watch it. Um, so they made it an intro film to introduce the characters. Suga, RM, Jin lost their hook. It was just the two characters, um, and one of them was portrayed to be sexual. He was just using sex to trick the others, which I really don't like. If it's going to be a romantic relationship, make it a romantic relationship, right? Like, why does it have to be? So that's the part that I like. And then there was just no depth to the other characters, and especially to Jungkook. I like Jungkook's depth, and I like Juwan's depth as well. But for you to transform it to that, so I've already made that point. And then it's not seven anymore. The title is Seven Fates Chakos. It's not seven anymore, it's five. You have five people, and then transform two characters. Haru actually was a pivotal character in the original one, because as I've said, he because of him, Jungkook's character tapped into his skill. So, and it was just, it became, and nothing against girls, I love children, as you know, but it's not Seven Fates chakras anymore, so why use it? um so yeah, for me, my view is that this is not Seven Fates chakras by BTS. It's an entirely different thing. Um so and given the lack of depth of the characters that I saw in the intro film, I don't think I'm going to be interested. Um, Bang Luna said, sounds like they're dumbing it down. Maybe you have a point. Maybe they're trying to dumb it down. But remember, there are a lot of um, manga who actually which actually has dumb plot lines. But they still give depth to the characters. In fact, it's one of the hook of a manga, because the characters seem like it's nothing, but there's so much depth in the character. This one just doesn't have depth. Like, I didn't feel it was a 10-minute film. 10 minutes, and you couldn't hook me with what's unique to all of these characters. So I'll pass. So I've already translated. My friend is done translating the first 10 minutes. I don't think I will follow through with the rest. So if you want to get those content, you just, if they make more, then you're just gonna have to get it somewhere else. But I personally don't have any interest. So then it can be the anime that must not be named. Yeah, they bought the essentially what happened was that they bought the title, and then but changed the story altogether. But yeah, it's not my Seven Fates Chacos that I love. I mean, I read a lot of animes. I actually recommended Spy X Family and One Punch Hero. So if you watch my video about it, my 10 recommended, like, funny, super funny manga. One of that would be a One Punch Hero, and basically he beats all of his opponents with a single punch. And so he's like bored to death. He's bored out of his mind because there's no worthy opponent. That was the plot line. But it's funny. So they bought the title. They'd have an audience in Army, hoping that they'd have an audience. I thought about it. But don't you think that if you want the audience of Armies, you should have stuck to the original storyline, made a great webtoon, a great film. And if you want to grow the characters, then you should have continued, or you did a prequel, or you do gaps, right? You explore each character. That would have hooked many of Armies. So I don't think it's because they think they're going I think there's a different agenda. Either they don't like the story, so they change it altogether. I don't know. But I don't think their target is Armies. Although they tag BTS, so I guess I don't know, but it's just dumb. The entire thing is just dumb. So Hanayori Dango. Okay, what about Hybe remove Jimin's character? What about Hybe? I don't think it's Hybe. They bought, so if you buy the rights of an IP, if you buy the rights of an IP, that essentially gives you whatever it is that you want to do with it. The same way, like for example, Disney buys Marvel or whatever, like Marvel buys Spider-Man. Then they can do it with whatever it is that they want to do with Spider-Man, right? Because they have the right. So for this one, the company has the right, but the right is not the question. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So they bought the rights of the IP and then they changed the story. But again, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Fear than you are an author, it sounds like they are hacks. Sounds like it, or maybe there's a different agenda. I don't really know. It really puzzles me. I thought, well, that LZ said that they bought the title hoping that they would have an audience in armies. At first that's what I thought, but then why would you bastardize the story? I am same as you though. I was disappointed in the removal of Hobie and Jimin's character. Hobie was such a good character in Seven Fates. I think he's one of the he's one of those characters that you can write an entire series about because he's so good. This character was so good. So for them to remove it, my God, like they remove two of the thickest characters. It would have been better for BTS to consult with you before writing it. um, the TV series is supposed to be faithful to the book. Each season covers one book, but it looks like they are planning to raise Swap Snape faithful. The TV series for who? TV series of who? It is what happened with Star Wars and all lame spin-off they have released under Disney. Yeah. So they changed the characters. But there are adaptations that are good, right? Um, and also like, shouldn't you have learned your lesson? So many failed adaptations and you didn't learn your lesson. So bye Bang Luna. We're almost done. We have 3 minutes more. Um, Oh, there's my favorite thought. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. If I can just say this to as many people as I can, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Oh, Harry Potter. Yeah. Yeah, that's like I love Harry Potter and I just want things to be the same. Again, if you want to grow a specific IP, a specific story, you try to grow it, not change it. That has always been my thought. You want to grow it, not change it. um, Adaptations are always a hit or miss and usually change fundamental aspects. This is not just a change in the fundamental aspect, this is an entirely different story. They didn't just change fundamental aspect, they just changed the story. Like this is different, entirely different. Words to live by. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Harry Potter, I plan not to watch the woke version they seem to be trying to do. If they're going to change any of the character, I love Harry Potter as it is. I don't want to change any of it. I don't want to change any of the houses. So if they're going to change it, maybe some people will like it. I won't. So I'm just not gonna watch it. I mean, good luck. More power to whoever is doing it, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people who would like it. It's just not for me. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's another one. Do a prequel, a far in the future sequel, but don't touch the original story. Or yes, a prequel, or you grow each of the characters. So one of the goals that I have is to actually do an animation of 7 Fates Chakos. I will buy the rights. And I will grow each of the characters, like do a prequel of the characters, how they got there and stuff like that. And do pockets of stories like the silent moments in 7 Fates. I'll do that. But I'm gonna have to become a millionaire first. So so that's the first in line. Um They need to stop adapting Dune also. Changing the story may have been a part of the deal for them to get the IP. Mm, for them to, maybe it's a condition that they put forth, but I don't think BTS, like Big Hit, would tell them to change the story. I have from fifth all first editions of HP books. They are part of my collection jewels. Imagine the level of madness. Nah, yeah, me too. Nah, if they're gonna change anything, I'm just not for me. I mean, more power to them. More power to them. And I'm sure a lot of people will like it. And maybe a new generation of HP fans will come to life, but it's just not for me. People were defending it, saying Jimin and Hobie were represented in the new characters. No, they're not. This is an entirely new story. This is not Seven Fates Chakos anymore. The title in itself is incorrect. It should be five, not seven. So, nope. Stream J Hope, yes. Stream J Hope, Stream Who, Stream Mona Lisa, Sweet Dreams, and whatever the third album is going to be. Stream that. And then we have our 1 billion. So stream all the songs that we're pushing to 1 billion. And that's what really matters more than anything else. All this stories, side stories, and IPs, and these are just bonuses. But the core is their music, and each of the members, they're very, very successful, so we should just concentrate on that. So please keep on streaming, please keep on supporting J-Hope until they return. Okay, so do you have any other question? I will, so my plan, so I'm doing in the next live stream, I'm going to discuss the next part of um the most beautiful moment in life universe. So I made an introduction. I will do the second part, like the progression of the story. After the most beautiful moment in life is done, I will discuss the seven fates chakras. So I hope that I can do all of that before they return. Streaming, streaming, streaming. Yes. um, be a good human. That ship is out of tech hookers, I guess, is out of control, but BTS is coming back in 2 months, and that is what we should be looking forward to. If armies don't support it, do you see them blaming Te and or JK for the lack of success? That's my big concern. No, no. I mean, BTS has never promoted this work. They have not promoted BT21 in a long time. So no, no. I mean, it's very hard to say that Jungkook and Tae cannot make something successful because look at their records. This is not connected to their main work, which is music. So no, I'm not worried about that. Yeah. Okay. Um, all right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me and staying with me. I hope that you can join me again. As I've said, I might do a live stream just to watch to finish the series, Are You Sure? And then catch up on either Bon Voyage or whatever. But I will probably do it on Twitch or another platform because YouTube is going to block me. All right. Thank you so much. Please keep on streaming, and I will see you in my next live stream. Bye.